Emperor has been expecting you.
Hi everyone and welcome to 16Figure Focus, and we are live at an unusual time on a Thursday night. So I see a few people coming in there to the live stream, joining us live. So just much appreciated if you're joining us live or you're watching on the replay. If you are joining us live, maybe let us know where you're from, what part of the world you're from, what's the time zone, what's the weather like. Yeah, so this is this is a kind of unusual, different type of live stream than I usually do. This is not the usual Monday Night Hope Show, obviously. And it is not the collection direction, kind of collection updates live streams that I do kind of on a regular basis, maybe once a quarter, once every 2 quarters. So recently, I did a video and it was entitled Every Single Figure I've Ever Sold. And I thought it'd be interesting to do the opposite and go through every single figure I've ever bought. But it just seems to be too big kind of a thing to do in one video, really. I kind of wanted to split it up into different parts. So yeah, so this particular series of live streams really is the figure I bought, why I bought these figures. Pretty straightforward stuff. So we'll just address the chat. So we got Noble Young. Noble Young just always first there, always first, getting that first in there. We got Thrawn's Office. I see more people coming in here. So 10 people watching live. Let us know where you're from. We got Nick. Shout out to Thrawn's Office channel member, obviously Mike L. He's changed his name to match his Instagram. I think he was confusing Graham from the Jedi Knights Watch a bit too much, so he had to take it easy on Graham. So thanks very much for being here. And shout out to all channel members, troopers and commanders. There's a link as usual pinned in the live chat if you want to support the channel in an extra way and consider becoming a channel member. It is greatly appreciated. Nick Carmen, Arizona. Not like the desert, isn't it? And it's 2 in the afternoon, a beautiful 75 degrees. Good stuff. And we got Mike Fela. Thanks very much for being here. Do appreciate it, Mike. Alright, we're just going to jump over here and just do a bit of just kind of a few basics. We're at 3,059 subscribers, so if you're one of those 3,059 people, I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you for helping the channel to grow. Yeah, or anyone, if you've ever taken the time to watch any videos, like any videos, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member, all that kind of stuff, greatly appreciated. Right, so just got a shout out to the members. It's going to take a while because I don't know what happened in the last few weeks, but a few people went wild. Instead of giving super chats, which of course are appreciated, instead of giving super chats, people were they're gifting memberships. And from what I understand how it works is, like, say if there were some people gifted 5 channel memberships, so that was like 5 trooper memberships. So it's like $15, something like that, because it's $2.99 a month in euro. I'm not sure what that is in dollars, maybe just a bit over. And people were gifting them. So all these people here, you can see the present icon in the top right hand corner. They were all gifted by various different members of the community. I think Mike L did that, or Tron's Office. I'm pretty sure Yomo did that. Eddie Money Mendez. There was someone else there on Monday night gifted 10, but I'd never seen the username before. I can't actually quite remember, but massively appreciated. And I gifted 5 as well. There was a kind of a special thing you could do it on one of the, I think it was one of the premieres. Right, so let's do this. So these are the gifties. I mean, Taylor Swift has her Swifties. Apparently 16Figure Focus has some gifties. So TX Boy 210, Dart Tamarisk, Your Majesty 3, Jerbear Man Cave, Single Songwriter, The Movie Canon, Akira, Just a Nerd, Uncarded Reviews, Christian Detour Collections, Arancar Sin, Zeph 76, Ricky P, Blazin Asian, Matthew Apollo, Toy Mafia, Low Key Collector, shout out to Calvin Babastis 123, Mike Fella, who's in the chat here, Aaron Collects, JB, Toy Collector, Mark Attack, Casual Nerd Problems, Cylon X-Men and Collector Joey. Shout out to Collector Joey. So all those people have been gifted in the last 2 weeks. Greatly appreciate the generosity of the subscribers or channel members, whoever it is, all those random people that I mentioned as well. Not random people. It was like I said, Eddie Money Mendez at Thrawn's Office here, previously known as Mike L. Yomo, I did gifted 5. And then there was this other person, I cannot remember their channel name, forgive me. On Monday they gifted 10. It was a strange name, I hadn't seen it before, but massively appreciated. Then the The non-gifties, the troopers, so Danny Spotchka, Ancient Silver Fox, Jose Plusser, Jose G. Hernandez, Brian Wong, The Ben Thomas Show, Ben We Will Always Have 800, Eddie Money Mendez, who's obviously a panel member like Jose and Ancient Silver Fox and Thrawn's Office on the Monday nights there. Caffeinated Comic Fan, Jim Collector, Lancelot's Nerd Corner. I will say it once, I'll say it again. If you haven't checked out Lancelot's Nerd Corner review of the Hot Toys, the Batman, fantastic stuff. Mugwump, we got Mike L, Shooty from Texas, and Ryan Smith. I think I'm going to have to change Mike L now to Thrawn's Office. I can't keep up with his name changes, but I'm sure he'll let me know what he wants me to change or not, and I will update it. Before, obviously we got a shout out to commanders as well. If you are joining the channel membership and you become a commander, which is kind of upper tier, your name, your username gets basically, it's kind of like a producer, gets put on the end of all of the videos, reviews, pre-order previews, release reactions, live streams like this. So a huge shout out to a new commander there in the channel memberships, Neilerific. He was a member before and he recently rejoined. Massively appreciated. Right, new videos on the channel. My thoughts on what I've seen so far of the Obi-Wan Kenobi Hot Toys Vader. My thoughts on C-3PO. Look, spoiler, I had the two of them on pre-order anyway for a longest time. My thoughts on Ahsoka. Yeah, this I quite like this. This little thumbnail. It literally tells you it's clickbait. It's not really clickbait, I suppose, if you think about it, because I'm not going to get it. I think it's pretty good, but no, it won't be for me. I won't be getting it. But yeah, I think they've done a great job on that. The Ahsoka line is lining up to be one of the strongest lines I think they've ever done, if the actual products turn out as good as the prototypes. Alright, so before I go into start off with that, this is kind of like part one of every figure I bought and why. It's not going to be that long. I'd say maybe go for 45 minutes. I don't think we'll quite go for the hour. But before we do that, we might take a look at some of those announcements and releases during the week. I haven't had a chance to make videos. I will be making videos in the mall, but I haven't had a chance yet. So the first one I want to talk about is this. I'll just flick through some of these images. Shout out to the 17 people watching live, or if you're watching on the replay. So this is the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Scarlet Witch from Doctor Strange, or the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange 2, whatever way you wanna explain it. Wasn't a fan of this movie, to be honest. Completely lost on me. Maybe it's the Sam Raimi effect. Just did not do it for me for multiple reasons. I won't get into it, not for me. But I gotta say, I think out of all the Wandas so far, because they had the WandaVision Wanda from the show, and then you have this one, and then you've got the Scarlet Witch, or no, this is the Scarlet Witch one, but you've got the Wanda, that kind of artisan one coming up. They did an option with rooted hair, or did do an option with sculpted hair. I think I'd probably get that one out of them all because it's Endgame, and although I'm not a completionist, I do have a lot of figures from the Endgame line, so it wouldn't make sense. Like, you know, so I got like what, Battle Damage Thanos, Battle Damage Mark 85, the Endgame Loki, the Endgame Cap, Iron Patriot, Rocket, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and it kind of makes sense if I was getting a Wanda to do that, but not a priority at the moment. Now, let's talk about this one. Let's take a quick look at this. I think that's absolutely stunning. Obviously, Elizabeth Olsen is a beautiful woman, and I think they've done a fantastic job of translating that beauty into 6-scale plastic. It's amazing like how they can do this. Shout out to these sculptors, in fairness. I mean, they don't always get it right, and I imagine it is quite difficult, and it requires a lot of skill. I don't want to say talent. I think that kind of cheapens it. Obviously, these people are talented because they put in the work, and they're constantly going over and over and over, whether it's paint applications, tailoring, sculpting, or whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you just took this off, just the head and the hair, you can get rid of that tiara and the outfit and everything, just showed it to someone. If they, you know, if they knew Elizabeth Olsen, they'd be able to identify her and go, yeah, that's Elizabeth Olsen. I think this is quite good. So, yeah, just, I want to zoom in on that actually, just the likeness. Yeah, and even that's not even the best picture out of this bunch. I gotta say, it's cool that it can do that and all, like, but if I won't be picking this up, but if I was, I wouldn't be leaving it like that in a long period of time. Just I reckon just put a lot of stress on the knees of that, and then it end up being really, really baggy and probably won't recover. I'd imagine what people are going to do is they're going to do this, they're going to take their photos, and then they're going to pose in something else. But then again, like if that's the pose you want, that's your forever pose, you leave it like that and it'll look pretty cool. Not gone on those effects though. I mean, the reason I collect is because I want shrunken down 1/6 scale representations, or the most realistic versions of these movie characters that I like so much. But yeah, I don't think this is it. This and sorry, what I mean by that is the effects don't do it for me. I think it just takes me out of it completely. So no matter how realistic the sculpt is, or the sculpted hair, or the outfit, or physique, or whatever, the tailoring, I just find these things, they don't do it for me. I find it just takes me out of it, like, you know. But they've done a great job on this. Let's be fair. Like, look at the head sculpt. That is, see, I just noticed actually all the blackened fingertips and stuff like this. I've literally only watched this movie once because I wasn't a fan. I might actually watch it again at the weekend just to just a film I can have on the background or something like that. But there were bits I liked about it. I thought when she was like kind of right off the hook and she was kind of, you know, just, I don't want to. Oh, look, the movie has been out here when she was tearing apart, like, who was it? What's it? Captain Carter and what's the dude's name? The leader of the Fantastic Four. Was it Captain Fantastic? Turned them into spaghetti and stuff like that. She was ruthless. I liked that. I thought it was quite good. But there was just a lot of the movie just didn't make sense to me, and I didn't like the style of it. But this looks good. They've done a great job. I think that it's just, what's not to like? I mean, the effects you can just leave in the box if you don't like them, but I think the proportions are good. Their physique is good. I like the way there's torn parts of the cape and stuff. Obviously, they've captured kind of very, very feminine and curvy, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Like, you know, it's a very, very good representation of her physique. Sculpted hair looks great. Like, from there, it looks rooted, to be honest. Tiara looks good. Now, that's the photo there, man. That's her every day of the week. Looks great. Thanks to the 21 people who are watching live and anyone watching in the replay. If you are not yet subscribed, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help us grow the channel. Engage in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Okay, so we got Colin. Hey everyone, watching from Kentucky. 4 p.m, 47 degrees and cloudy here. I like the way people are playing the game here. Thanks, Colin. I do appreciate that. Ryan Smith. So he's from the UK. And Ryan's a big Batman fan, a big Dark Knight fan, so this guy is A-okay by me. Ryan, thanks very much. Also a channel member, so shout out. 24 people watching live, thanks very much. If you just joined us, we're going to talk about the latest releases and announcement this week, and then we're going to do part 1 of a new series of live streams I'm doing called, why I bought these figures. It's really, really simple. I couldn't do it all in what I could do in one stream, but it'd be a long time, and you know the way you might speak about 2 or 3 figures you bought in 5 minutes, and then there's like one figure you might just explain backstories and, you know, like what it means to you and like how much you like this and who you're with and stuff. So you don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take. You know what I mean? So I decided to break it up into different parts. Yes, can't wait for this to come into my collection. Beautiful Wanda head sculpt. I would agree with you. Same focus. I don't need all the extras, which is why I got the collector version. That would be a good call to save a bit of money. And yes, she kicked the Illuminati's ass, 100%. I get you. Let's go on. Tragedy Tales, thanks so much for being here. And yeah, channel member as well, thank you. Let's go. Wanda looks brill. I'll wait for endgame version. Yeah, the endgame version, I think if I had to get one, it would make sense because, again, just back to that, I hear a lot of collectors now talking about curating the collection and being disciplined and stuff like that, and like that's kind of something I've been doing more or less since I started collecting. I don't always get it right, but for the most part, even the figures I sold, typically they're ones that I sold because there's better versions of them on the way out that I have on order or having my eye on. Not always though, not always, but you know, typically if I buy a figure it stays in the collection long term. But I see a lot of people talking about being disciplined now and kind of, you know, really thinking about what they're purchasing, and it's a good thing because there's so much now, there's so many companies after your money now, whether it is, yeah, Hot Toys, or whether it's Inart, or whether it's statue companies, or whether it's these third-party companies if you mess with the third parties and stuff. So it's kind of, I think you need to be kind of disciplined. Plus, Plus, when you have multiple versions of this, we've got the Wanda from WandaVision, we got the Scarlet Witch here on screen from the Multiverse of Madness, then you got the Endgame one. So to my original point, it would make more sense if I was getting a Wanda. I'm not really in the market for Wanda, but if I was, it would make more sense for me to get the Endgame one, because I have a lot of figures from the Endgame line. The Endgame line's a 5-star movie, or the Endgame movie is a 5-star movie. So it would be kind of like, I'm not sure it'd be a triple threat. I like the character Wanda. I don't particularly love the character Wanda. I love Endgame though. But I wouldn't say love, I like that version of Endgame. That's my point really. That's how I filter things out. But yeah, if I was getting one, it'd be the Endgame version. 27 people watching live. We got people coming in through the doors now. Excellent stuff. I really do appreciate that. Hit the like, subscribe on your way in. Mike, 16K Collector, do you plan on getting a fusion reactor for C-3PO? That's a good question. I was thinking about that myself. Typically with a fusion reactor, like, to be honest, that should have been like lit up. They should have done that. If they can light up the Kenobi Vader's chest box and belt, and they can light up things like the Grand Inquisitor's chest piece, they can light up C-3PO's eyes. I mean, come on, like, just put the extra bit of tech in there. But yeah, I imagine a fusion reactor could be on the cards there. I'll wait. I usually wait and plan things out and go, right, I've got these figures come in, I want to elevate them, so then I like put together a list of fusion reactors I want, and then contact I think it's Hendra that I buy them off. Yeah, same with CCFLs and stuff like that. But so I think I might go like that. Plus the C-3PO, it's literally just the eyes that light up, so it's a lot cheaper to get that as opposed to a full kit where you might have 6 or 7 different dummy batteries. Like for an Iron Man, you'd usually have about 6 different dummy batteries. Yomo won the giveaway. He won a brand new sealed Captain America Civil War Winter Soldier. It was donated courtesy of Ian H. and Silverfox. So shout out to Ian, shout out to Yomo. Cheers. Can you let me know if the music's too loud in the background? I want that kind of like barely audible. I don't want it like going over my voice. I've heard of that discipline thing. Yeah, it's funny. I had a PO of the Endgame version 2. Looks too good to pass on that. I get you. Someone on another stream brought up a great point that this Wanda base with candles could have been USB powered. Yeah, very true. I think they USB powered the kind of broken rock base that she comes with for Endgame. I get a feeling I could be tempted on that Wanda. I don't really have female characters in my collection. I've got Ahsoka Tano from The Mandalorian. It's not a perfect figure, but I love it because I love that particular version of Ahsoka and that episode of Mandalorian, which I've constantly gone on about, and I'm sure I'll speak about it in later parts. We're not going to be speaking about that figure today, but in later parts of this live stream and the kind of other episodes down the line when I do like part 3 or 4. Hello. Okay, let's take a look. I'm going to flick on through some of these. I think that's stunning. Let's just zoom in on this. Like, look at the eyes. There's a lot of life in those eyes. And these, I believe these aren't separate rolling eyeballs function. I think they're fixed. But I think they've got that illumination thing. If you shine a bit of light on them, they kind of glow. I'm just noticing the blackening on the fingertips here as well. The texture on the forearm. Just the tiara looks pretty good. A bit plasticky, but look, I'm sure it's what was it made out of anyway in real life. Only zoomed in here can you really tell it's sculpted. When you zoom back out, you can tell it's sculpted, but it looks a lot better. That head sculpt is very impressive. So this comes with this book as well. What's it, the Darkhold? Do you know what part of the outfit I really like? See on her hips, there's kind of like the belt part, but then there's almost these kind of, I don't know, I presume there's, I don't know, were they leather on screen or something like that, but they're kind of, I presume they're just like pleather or plastic or something like that, just on the hips, almost like armor on her hips. I think that's pretty cool. That does nothing for me. I just think those plastic bits are stupid. Look at the head sculpt, man. Look at that head sculpt. I'm really impressed by this. I am actually going back and watch this movie. I'm not a fan of it. But look, it's something to have on the background. She kind of looks like she's doing the rock symbol there. Yeah. She's just in a mosh pit at a Megadeth. Or a Machine Head concert or something. Yeah, that's pretty much all I think about this. I think they've done a great job on it. Yep. Okay. Take a look at Gorr. I've literally not seen any of this at all. Because, like Wanda, I did flick through the photos on Instagram. I had a few minutes flick through them, and I really wanted to see how the head sculpt would turn out, because from what I saw from the prototype, I actually was very impressed. But with Gorr, oh my god, where do I even start? I don't want to, I'm not really one to tiptoe around things. Thor, what's it, Love and Thunder, is shit. It is not a good movie. It is awful. It was a waste of my time. It was a waste of the money I paid to go to the cinema with it. I don't want to see it again. Multiverse of Madness, I felt was definitely better than Thor Love and Thunder, but I didn't like Multiverse of Madness either. Like, Thor Love and Thunder was probably, 1 star? Because it was a movie. But the, Multiverse of Madness, at least there had some redeeming parts for me. Like, the bits with Wanda I did quite like. This is terrible. Just be clear about that. This movie is terrible. So it wouldn't matter how good any of these figures turn out. I wouldn't have bought them. Do you know what I mean? How other people collect is absolutely none of my business. How I collect, typically, I have to like the source. Actually, I'm not going to say I have to love the source material, love the character, and love that version of the character in order to hand over my hard-earned money for this stuff. Because this game is expensive. And I find by sticking to those that strategy, it keeps me in check. There's a lot of stuff I have to pass on. I simply can't afford it, or I don't have the space. And a lot of stuff I just don't want. I'm a big Christian Bale fan, but I mean, not enough to save it. This movie was awful. But now I've heard people talk about this, but I haven't actually had a look at this. So, head sculpt, from what I remember, I saw this movie once. Looks okay here. The jointed arms, they shouldn't have done that. And the jointed wrists, I think, are terrible as well. I just think the jointed arms and wrists are terrible. I've heard that the issue is because of the scarring on the body, that wouldn't translate well onto a silicone body if they gave it seamless arms. And I kind of get that as well. But Hot Toys have done very, very good seamless bodies. Case in point, the Peacemaker. Not only is the seamless arms good and the proportions good, but even the definition on them. It's not just a lump of silicone or whatever. The definition on them is good, and they're it's very, very, very well done. So here you've got Thor's axe. I think it's Thor's axe, isn't it? Can't remember the name of it. And this is just the God Killer or something like that. The sword. There's some name for the sword as well. The tailoring looks good. But I mean, I just can't get away from the joints there. I mean, the joints on the wrists, the joints on the elbows, and even the joints in the ankles there. I just think that looks terrible, to be honest. I think it looks terrible. Figure overall, head sculpt looks good, proportions look good, the tailoring looks good, the accessories look good. It's just those goddamn joints. Head sculpt's very strong. I like the details on the sword as well. I think the head sculpt looks great. Not sure how much Christian Bale I see there now, but he was covered in a lot of makeup, scarring. I think they even gave him lenses today. Teeth are different too. I can see it there. Yeah, I can see Vader's there. Does it come with the axe and the sword? I don't know. Obviously, it's highly posable because of the joints, to be honest. Oh, that looks nasty. Yeah, that looks nasty. Yeah, I've seen enough. I have no interest in this. Good head sculpt, but like those joints just kill it for me, to be honest. Alright, let's take a look at literally. Don't know what this is, but we'll have a look at it. Caleb Collects says, what's up? Not much. Speaking of Ahsoka, any plans to get Ahsoka to White? No. I thought very little of the Ahsoka show. To be honest, like, after watching the sequels, I was thinking, well, that's it. Star Wars to me is the original trilogy, and that's it. And then The Mandalorian came along, and those two first seasons, just loved them. Absolutely loved them. I was like, okay, maybe just hope. And Andor was fantastic. And Book of Boba Fett, apart from episode 5 and 6, it was just lame. And then Ahsoka, I just did not hit the mark for me at all. Rosario Dawson's live action performance in The Mandalorian, even her appearance in Book of Boba Fett, very, very good. Then the show just really fell flat for me, so I have no plans to get anything from the Ahsoka show. But the line, what I've seen so far, all the prototypes, they look stunning. They look stunning. Can't deny that. Head sculpt on Gorr looks pretty good. I just watched Multiverse of Madness again. Love that film. I like the way you're saying film. Yeah, we're gonna have to agree to disagree, Boba. But that's what we do around here. We don't get aggro because we disagree with things. I like that. Gorr is anything but gorgeous. I don't know what you're talking about. They did a tour for? Yeah, you've erased it. You got that Men in Black thing that flicker made you forget everything. Yeah. Polo Ralph Lauren, thanks so much for being here. You couldn't do, yeah, with all the scarring as well. You could do a body spot, but then you're going to have to paint it, and then you're going to have to like scar up the skin and stuff like that, aren't you? Yeah, wasn't a fan of this. Yeah. Do you think, why is that? Do you think it will, like, if it's painted and it will rub off things, or what do you think? Didn't see the Maul DeLorean coming at all. It looks great, but wouldn't fit my current Mando covert. Yeah, I can see that. This comment here. They're yeah, those figures look amazing. Like Sabine, Hera, Padawan Ahsoka, Chopper, Ahsoka the White, Thrawn, this thing on the screen. All look amazing, man. All look amazing. It's like, part of me is like, I wish I liked the show so I could get the figures. But I know you don't. Okay, some people will just get the figure because they like the figure. Nothing wrong with that. Me, I need to like the show. Or need to like at least feel really strongly about a certain part of the show, at the very least. Let's take a look at these Maul DeLoreans. So these are from the Ahsoka. I cannot even remember what part they're in. Please someone tell me. I don't remember what part these are in. So these are from Ahsoka. Where were they? I don't remember. Was it a flashback or something? It must have been a flashback. I genuinely cannot remember. Were they in the flashback episode with Anakin and the young Padawan Ahsoka, or what was it? But look, we'll go through them anyway. So basically it's a Mandalorian, or some sort of a Mandalorian with a few horns on his head, because they're like loyal to Darth Maul or something like that. I think it's from the Clone Wars. You got the little jellyfish. You see it? These little effects, they just take me right out of it. You had then they do a heavy infantry, heavy Mandalorian, and then they 2.0'd it, and they just gave a little jellyfish and changed the nameplate to Paz Vizsla. Yeah, weathering looks good on this. Yeah, it's basically got it looks to me this looks like a repainted Death Watch with a few horns in it. I'd imagine. Can't be too far off the mark with that. Let me know in the comment section down below. this Maul, I'm seeing the tattooed chest, so I'm wondering, I'm assuming this is, okay, this is a scene inspired by Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated series. So that's the Clone Wars Maul, I presume. Just let me know there, can you confirm that? I'm looking at this, I think it's the Clone Wars Maul. Because I don't think it's not the episode 1 Maul. He didn't have the tattooed chest. I think the Clone Wars Maul is the only one. I can't tell if he has the robotic legs or not, but I can't tell if that's the Clone Wars or the live action. No, that's the Clone Wars one, is it? Could be. Was the live action one the solo one? I'm going to say that this is the Clone Wars animated Maul. Look, yeah, it looks cool, but no. Nah. Okay, right. So we're going to stop sharing that. And okay, so if you're just joining us, what we are doing is so Caleb wants that DX28 Clone Wars Season 7 Mandalore flashback. So it was in episode 5. Okay, good stuff. Right, okay. Yeah, it's a jellyfish. He's got the little blue jellyfish on him. Yeah. Alright, folks. Right, so let's start at the start. Now, these are somewhat chronological order for the most part. There's some parts that'll be overlapping. But look, we're going to go through, like, if you're just joining us, this is why I bought these figures. And this is part 1. So I'm just going to outline all the figures that I bought ever, and it's going to take me a few live streams to do this because some of the ones are bought and sold, but most of them are still in my collection. Right, so this is the MMS 67. So dial the clocks back to 2008. I'm in a place called Limerick in Ireland, and I have tickets for the opening night at the Limerick Omniplex at the time to see The Dark Knight for the first time ever. Packed out, sold out showing, the biggest screen. It was 8 PM, saw it, and it absolutely blew us away. It was the only time, at the time, it was the only time where a movie ended and people clapped. Like, Irish audiences don't tend to do that to the cinema. They'll do that, you know, sporting events or, you know, musicals, concerts, drama, stuff like that. But clapping at the cinema, not really. I suppose it was in the wake of Heath Ledger's untimely death as well. So this figure was this obviously, look, that movie was mind-blowing. And I collect things. The time I had dabbled in different scales, and I liked collecting vehicles and stuff like that, but I never heard of Hot Toys or whatever like that. I knew that there was figures of that scale out there, but a lot of them just look kind of really dodgy, or maybe just hard to get or something like that. So Sideshow, I don't think was a thing at the time, but this must have been about a year later, maybe a year after that, 2009, 2010. And I came across this on eBay, and I did all my reading on it and realized, okay, this thing called a Hot Toy or 1/6 scale, and had measured up and figured out what I wanted. And yeah, so I pulled the trigger through eBay on the MMS 67, which is, it's branded The Dark Knight, but of course it's the Batman Begins suit, because at the start of the movie he was wearing the suit. And I actually prefer the second suit. I prefer the DX19 style suit. But they hadn't actually released that yet. I think the first version they did of that might have been, I don't think it was the DX02. I've had that, but I can't remember what the non-DX version of that suit, but they did that as well. So I was like, right, I'll get this, and I got the Joker as well. So this is the MMS 67, the Joker is MMS 68. And I remember at the time being really impressed by both of them, in particular the head sculpt on the Joker, and you'll see now after it's not great at all, because they're comparing it to things like the magnificent stuff that's going on from Inart, or even like the later versions of the Hot Toys Joker, or even what they've teased with the artisan one. Say if you're comparing like with like the sculpted Joker that they have coming out, of course the J&D, so their technology is better, people are better at sculpting, paint apps, all that kind of stuff. Things have moved on. But at the time, they were solid, and I think this figure still held up. But it's no longer in my collection because I was anticipating better versions of it. I was wrong on that, because the Batman Begins 2.0 is terrible. Why do I have it? I have it because I've got an OT Customs cape, because I've got a Jackson Chew head sculpt on the way whenever that comes out, and I'm going to put them all together and kind of customize it up. It's kind of like what Dean Knight did. So you have a better cape, the better cowl, which needs to be better mouth plates and stuff like that, and I've got a nice stand for it as well, kind of like a diorama. But this wasn't bad. Like, you posed this up the right way, it looked well. There was no question who it was. It looked good, and the mouth plates were actually okay. But just to show you how far they've come, that was the head sculpt at the time. And I gotta say, at the time I was thinking, yeah, it looks like Christian Bale. But yeah, that's not great. Because now we're used to like how good these... Look at the DX19 sculpt compared to this. So I sold that to improve. I got this for €130, and I got the MMS 68 for €130 as well. They both sold because I'm going to be getting better versions of them. Obviously, I'm selling this because I'm going to put together, even the Batman Begins 2.0, as terrible as it is, when I customize it, whatever, and bring it up and get that cowl, there's a lot of investment into it, it's going to look a lot better. So this is the MMS 68, and again, at the time, this was like even if you look at that photo, even like the tailoring is pretty damn good. Comes with like only a few accessories, like a knife, some cards, some what did it come with as well? Came with a knife, stacks of dollar bills, some like playing cards, and did it come with a gun? I think it came with a handgun or something like that. But I remember like everyone, like, you know, say like if a mom saw it or friends, they're like, geez, that's pretty damn good, like, you know, it's amazing looking. But it really isn't compared to the stuff that we're seeing now. So in short, I sold both of these figures. I actually got these in, like, I think I want to say 2010 when I got them in hand through eBay. And then I kind of like, I didn't say stop collecting. Yeah, I could say I was collecting other things, but I didn't get any more Hot Toys because I was like, these things are so good that I want to be able to display these in a proper cabinet and give them the respect that they deserve. And at the time I was moving between different houses and stuff like that, and college, first jobs, all that kind of stuff. So I held on to them for ages, and then eventually I sold them in, I think 2018, I think, because there's better versions coming out. And now I've got the Inart one, so I haven't looked back. So that's a legitimate sale. I don't need this next to the Inart Joker. Why would I? This is one of the favorite figures in my collection. This is the Hot Toys 1/6 scale die-cast MMS 3. That's a 378 D17, so it was the 17th die-cast they did. The Mark 6. This is my favorite armor in the MCU. The Mark 6. There's a lot of great ones. You got the Mark 5, the Mark 3, the Mark 85, the Battle Damage Mark 85. A lot of people like the Mark 46, the Mark 47. Even you go back to the Mark 1, the Mark 2, Mark 4, whatever. But the Mark 6 for me is just, what I like about it is you've got the traditional red and gold, you've got a splash of silver in parts of the knees and biceps. I like those little details. It's a leaner suit than, say, it's a leaner suit, and not, the chest isn't as curvy, it's more angular than a Mark 3. But that triangle arc reactor, especially when it's lit up there, when it's lit up with an arc reactor, also posed next to the Mark 1 War Machine, really, really good. So this one here was my first die-cast Iron Man, and yeah, this isn't leaving the collection anytime soon. It's one of my favorite ones. This is one of my fire figures. If House is on fire, I gotta take this one with me. And posed up next to the War Machine Mark 1, especially when they're lit up with the fusion, just looks amazing. They really complement each other, the red and gold compared to the kind of the gunmetal and kind of the darker kind of tones of the War Machine Mark 1. So yeah, love this. Like, it comes with a bunch of different swap out parts. Like, you know, you have the clean look like this, then you've got a battle damage faceplate, a battle damage chest plate. That was at the time where the front part comes off and you can just see part of Robert Downey Jr. or Tony's head. The head sculpt still holds up, even though you see a part of it, you still know exactly what it's supposed to be. Different arm parts, like weaponized mode, different like little rockets and stuff that pop out from his shoulders and his wrists and stuff like that. Of course, the base lights up. It's not true 1/6 scale. I gotta say that new Mark 6 or even the quarter scale Mark 6, very, very tempted on them. But that, yeah, I gotta say that gantry, and that true 1/6 scale gantry from Avengers, really looking forward to that. But yeah, this is still one of the best pieces of my collection. Absolutely love it. Yeah, gonna address some of these chats. We got Brick. Hello, Brick. Just got off work. I'll be listening to drive home. Thank you very much, Brick. Good to hear from you. We are ready to hear the stories. Thank you. That Maul DeLorean is the type of figure that made me decide to finally collect 1/6. Kind of tipped you over the edge there. Yeah, Hot Toys might have been around far as 2000, but like Sideshow, maybe I didn't realize what Sideshow was at the time in 2010, or didn't. Maybe they had. I'm not sure when they have been established. Thank God I started collecting hobby. Yeah, it's true. Like, you know, look, we wouldn't have what we have now if they hadn't done what they did then. But some figures hold up. This figure holds up. Absolutely love it. And yeah, it looks great with the Mark 1. I think it might actually, even though the Bleedens are that bit smaller, I still think I could make this look really well with the War Machine Mark 1 just angled together. Kind of like, I'll just show you actually. Like this here, if you look on the left here, this isn't something I got off the internet. This is a photo I took. So what I did was, here is, I put the, on the left here, the Iron Man Mark 6 and then the War Machine Mark 1. I put them into the light box. I had them posed in a detolf together like that. But one day I just popped them into the light box. I think it was like the first photo I took of them, and that was it. And then just converted it to a PNG and just put it into the slide. So this here, what I'm looking at here, they're actually my figures. That's a photo I took. It's not something I got off the internet. And that's what I had them posed like. And they're obviously lit up with fusions as well. So you can see them there, and you can see the War Machine Mark 1 there. But I think they might actually look better together. Be tight in that Bleeding, but I think if you put it in the middle, I think it would work. I might try it and see if I get on. I might hate it though, so I might have to change it. Ugh, yuck. Alright, so then we're on to the next one. This is actually, these are in chronological order so far. So I remember living in Abu Dhabi, and I was writing a paper, and I was working really, really hard, and I said, right, if I got the paper done by a certain time, I'd reward myself and go see Deadpool 2, because I loved Deadpool 1. Came out of nowhere. Loved the action, the humor, the pop culture references, the Easter eggs, the breaking of the fourth wall, Ryan Reynolds' timing, like his tone of voice, his I love the way his face is covered up for more or less the whole movie, but so therefore he has to rely on his body language in order to get like humor across stuff. I think he's great at that. So even just the way they told the story, loved it. Breaking the fourth wall and all that. I gotta say though, I actually think Deadpool 2 is a really strong sequel. I think it's a better movie than Deadpool 1, and a lot of people don't agree with me, but I mean, I just thought it developed the character a lot more. You obviously have the death of his girlfriend, you know, him dealing with that, and the kind of all these references to say like Wolverine and stuff like that. Numerous Easter eggs and pop culture references, fantastic action scenes. The Josh Brolin as Cable, I know he's not like the Rob Liefeld drawn Cable, big absolutely muscle bound guy. Like I always thought, like, do you know the guy from Avatar, the kind of bad guy from the first Avatar, the general? That's the type of guy you probably need to play Cable. He was like tall, absolutely jacked. I mean, he looks like Cable. But I thought Josh Brolin did a great job. Plus, I admire the fact that he's an older man. He's still got into that physique. I mean, getting into that physique, even in your like, you know, 20s must be very, very difficult. But getting into that physique at like that age, it's like Daniel Craig playing Bond. But then the design of him, you know, with the kind of mechanical light up eye, and then it's kind of like the nanovirus, technical virus that's taking over his body with the bionic arm, the poncho, the kind of the vest with all the different. It's just like this guy is sent back through time for this mission. Very, very cool. Yeah, and I just think that Deadpool 2 just blew me away. Absolutely loved it. Zazie Beetz was fantastic. That kind of truck, armored van chase scene, very, very good. And yeah, I loved it. So it's a Sideshow purchase. Got it delivered to Abu Dhabi and missed out and avoided paying import tax and stuff like that because it's tax free, which is great. Great figure though. Doesn't have a head sculpt, but the body proportions are better than the first one. I think the first one had a peeling issue. You get the 2 katanas, which are very, very sharp metal. You got the, I think, 1 dagger, 2 handguns. Then you got a bunch of funny accessories like the high heels they give him. You have that kind of cardboard part. Is the trainee. I haven't posed with the trainee uniform. I think it's quite funny. But Clinton Martin, howdy folks. Hello Clinton. Dirk Diggler's stunt double. I said it before, I'll say it again. Every time I see your username, I want to go back and watch Boogie Nights, because I remember watching it and thought it was a really good movie. But I must go back and watch that. And rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman. Do you think we'll get a head sculpt? Yes, definitely. I think Eddie Money Mendez is right on the money. Didn't mean, that makes sense. When he says we're going to get that kind of hamburger head that he has. I think that, yeah. I think, for me, for Deadpool and Wolverine, or Deadpool 3, whatever you want to call it, if they just give us a new version of Deadpool with that, a really, really good head sculpt, and the yellow suit Wolverine with a really good Hugh Jackman head sculpt, but hopefully in the movie he wears the actual mask. That's all I want. That's fairly low bar. That's all I want. That's all I want. And in a year where there's not much movies coming out and material for them to pull from, come on. Okay? But yeah, I think we're going to get that. So yeah, another fantastic figure. Have it downstairs in the movie icons display, posed next to Cable. This one here, so out of all these ones so far, this is gone for obvious reasons. That looks pretty good though. Yeah, this is gone because the one I'm going to put together will be better. Simple as. Use the collection to fund the collection. This is gone because the Inart one is there. No competition. This is still here because it's amazing. I probably won't upgrade to the new one, although I'm really tempted and I can't rule it out. This is still in the collection. Love it. This one here is one of the ones they've moved on. This was one of my little missteps. I kind of got a bit like, you're starting into, because although I got the first 2 in 2010, it took a long break. But then I was getting to the stage where kind of like, okay, I'm going to be living in the same place for a longer period of time. And I've got a display case, and I can start displaying this stuff. And instead of being patient, I was like, okay, what's in stock now? And I'd seen Black Panther. I thought it was a good movie, but it didn't like blow my mind. It's not something that I was like, it's not like, wow, Terminator 2 or the first Matrix movie or The Dark Knight or Inception or Interstellar. It wasn't like, I thought it was good. I really like Chadwick Boseman. Thought the music was really good. I really like Michael B. Jordan. One of the best villains I think we've had. Villain, anti-hero, whatever you want to call him. But I got this figure, and I did quite like up the like that function on it where you had those 2 things. They were kind of like the things that if you remember the vibranium, the train that transported the vibranium, it had to be like, was it some sort of energy waves had to be kind of directed at the train, because vibranium could be explosive if it was carried. But anyway, it was done like them, and they lit up, and you know, by USB, and then they were only cardboard or flimsy things. But then you can see all the designs on the suit. I actually quite liked that, but I was thinking, okay, I couldn't actually fit into detail for what I was using, and I was kind of going, alright, I kind of wanted to display it like that, and eventually I was kind of going, look, and I passed this one on. But look, yeah, good figure. The head sculpt's okay. Articulation wouldn't be great on this, and it's that kind of suit as well that hinders it. That's gone. Okay, story between this. You saw the, interestingly, ironically, the Spider-Man Homecoming Deluxe, the one that I used in the thumbnail, is not actually, we're actually going to be talking about that today. We'll be referencing it, but I'll spend a bit more time on it another day. When I went on Sideshow in 2017 to get this, I went on specifically to get a die-cast Iron Man. They didn't have the Mark III, but look, I would have got the Mark III, but this is my favourite one. So I'm glad they had this one. I didn't expect to see this one there. I was kind of looking for the Mark III. So ordered this, grand. And then I noticed that they had that Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Homecoming Deluxe, and I, watched Homecoming, and I really liked Tom Holland's version. I liked Homecoming, thought it was a solid first movie. Loved the fact it was kind of like a classic suit. It was, blue and red, quite simple. But I loved all the accessories it came with. It came with the layers, it came with the navy hoodie, the yellow blazer, the school bag, the science book, the headphones, really, really cool. And a bunch of other things. But that was sold out, added to the wait list, never converted everywhere else. So eBay was selling it for like $1,000 and stuff like that. Now in the future, I eventually got it and paid significantly less than $1,000. But in the meantime, I did always like the Iron Spider suit. Obviously, Infinity War is fantastic. Obviously, it's in Endgame. It gets a lot of screen time. It's in Infinity War. It's in Endgame. It's in Far From Home. And it's in No Way Home as well. So, like, you know, it's got that Doc Ock fight on the bridge. But I basically got this figure because I wanted a Spider-Man figure and I couldn't get the one I wanted. And I don't think that's the best way to collect it. You kind of maybe, if I'd known now what I'd known then, I would have held off and just waited and played the patient game. You'll always get what you want. Like, I've worked backwards on a lot of figures in the last few years and haven't paid through the nose for them. They weren't cheap, a little bit over retail, definitely over retail, but cheaper than, say, like the city prices and eBay's for some of them. So, you know, I've got the Terminator 1 Police Shootout T800, the DX-13 from Terminator 2, the Robocop in a chair, the one from the 1987 movie, Alec Guinness Obi-Wan Kenobi. What else? Is there any other? Oh, you can't see it, but it's the Jack Nicholson Joker. You know, so all of those I did not get them at retail. They were above retail, but they weren't like, you know, that'll be one kidney and your liver as well, please, sir. Wasn't like that. You know, let's address some of these chats. So this new version of Deadpool be the definitive to have. Oh, who knows, man? Who knows? The movie could suck. The movie could suck. I don't think it's gonna. Like, my expectations for it would be just hit the standard that the first two hit. The same way as my expectations for Mandalorian Season 3 were, it wasn't like my unrealistically high expectations. Those expectations were set by Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau or everyone else involved in Season 1 and 2. So then when it fell flat in its face, it was like, that's not on me. Because I got excited about something. That's like, so it wasn't as good as the first two. So this here, it depends. Like, if the movie is, like, let's say this movie is better than the other two and they absolutely nail it, then maybe it could be, because you will want them. It's funny things. It's a funny dynamic here because it's not just Deadpool. Deadpool has a draw now anyway. Wolverine has a draw now, but it's Deadpool and Wolverine together in the same movie, and it's Deadpool and Wolverine going into the MCU. It's still rated R though, but the draw is not just Deadpool or Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine. It's the Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. It's everything together, which hopefully it works out. Shout out to the 27 people watching live, or if you're watching in the replay, massively appreciated. So my answer to that is, if the movie's an absolute banger and the figure turns out just as good, maybe it is. If we do get a head sculpt with the next Deadpool, yeah, we need to get it. Yeah, 100%. Damn, I'm late again. I feel the same about Clone Wars Ahsoka. I love that figure, but I could have definitely spent significantly less on her if I'd waited. Okay. Yeah, so this one's gone. At the moment I only have that Spider-Man Homecoming Deluxe, the one, the thumbnail. But I do have like 4 on order. Well, 3 on order and one's inevitable. Final Swing. Integrated. Andrew, Tom. Yeah, really big fan of No Way Home. Right, so this one I had, and for the longest time I was posing it up with the Mark 6. And then that Mark 1 released, and I was thinking it would make more sense to pair up your Mark 6 with the Mark 1. And even though, if I'm being brutally honest, I think this is a slicker design. I think the Mark 4 is actually the slickest War Machine we've had so far, in terms of, it was bulky, but it wasn't as bulky as the Mark 1. It was bulky, but it was still a bit leaner than the Mark 1. It had the bulk, it had the tech, but I think it's slicker design, the digital camo as well. This is a pretty cool looking piece, but this one actually gave away in a channel giveaway. Endgame cap. I wanted a cap. I think this is the definitive one for me. Maybe not be definitive one for everyone. I think the stealth suit a lot of people like. Maybe the Endgame one with the kind of, you know, the Star Spangled Man or whatever it's called. I really like this though. I mean, you got the 2 different versions of the shield, the regular one, the broken one. You've got a bunch of mouth plates, the head sculpt, and you've got the Mjolnir as well. Alright, mate. Posability sucks though. Not really good posable. Yep. This was a gift, and yeah, look, out of all, I'm a trooper fan. I collect troopers. You know, I'm in the 501st. I have this exact armor. 1-to-1 scale. But for me, the original trilogy Stormtrooper, like on screen, that's still my favorite design. I think nothing screams Star Wars more than a Stormtrooper. Maybe Vader. Well, Vader, yeah, obviously. But yeah, just screams Star Wars. And it's a classic design. The first Boba Fett I got, this again, it was a sideshow purchase. This was the Empire Strikes Back Deluxe, so it wasn't the 40th anniversary one. It's pretty much the same as the 40th anniversary one. It gets 2 alternative looks. I have it posed up. I've never used the alternative look. I've just posed up the screen accurate version. But it really simple. Just, yeah, really like this figure. It's a Boba Fett. Had to. I'll be finishing this stream soon, I think. I'm just getting a bit tired. Like I said, after watching the sequels, I decided, okay, well, that's it. That's Star Wars is the original trilogy, and there probably won't be anything else out that I'll gravitate towards, but just thought they absolutely nailed Mandalorian season 1 and 2. Really love this version of Mandalorian, just a cobbled together rustic look. I think it has a Shore Trooper pauldron on its right shoulder there. Love the inclusion of the kind of Stormtrooper helmet on a spire and a spike there. Just really cool. Just like thrown together armor parts, all like rustic, and even the way you can attach the long rifle on his back and the kind of little tattered cape. Yeah, just a great show as well. And of course, this leads in nicely. What I like about shows is instead of telling you, they just show you something and you know. When you see these busted up, dirty, cracked, well weathered, sandied up remnant troopers, you know the remnant troopers, remnants of the Empire. So the Empire are still around, but they're not as funded. They're gone underground. They're not as prominent. They don't have the funding and stuff like that. So they're all like bet up, you know. Yeah, and again, this figure I believe is kind of, I think this is still taken off in the aftermarket. I think this goes for 400. And the final figure. So just to recap as well. Yeah, I told you that one's gone. Still here. Gone. Get the channel giveaway. Still here. And this one was the most recent one that I sold. I love the scene in the movie, and I do collect troopers, and I've had that and the mustard for a while. But when I'm looking to the right here and see all these troopers, the one thing they have in common is they're all kind of they're more weathered. They're more weathered, it's all like heavily weathering and dirtied up, and those two just stuck out like a sore thumb. But yeah, look, use the collection to fund the collection. Just finishing up here. So, Endgame cap is the definitive MCU cap for me. Yeah, same. I agree. Agree with you on War Machine. Infinity War is probably verse version. Yeah, like again, I don't have it, but I have the. Which way am I going? There we go. There we go. I still think them two. I'm going to try and fit the two of these in the Bleeding together, because I want to see what they look like side by side. The Bleeding, it worked really well in the detail in the middle one. But yeah, evening. Just finishing up there, Cop. Thank you for joining us. I'm late, but I'm here, and I'm literally falling asleep here. I'm actually just about to end the stream. Sorry, Jose. I appreciate you making an effort and jumping in. Shout out to the 29 people watching, or anyone watching live. If you want to support the channel, please like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, leave a comment, and yeah, please, yeah, if you are not a channel member, you want to support the channel, maybe consider it. Apart from that, the next time you see me, I got a bunch of videos to make over the weekend. I'm gonna have to make make videos on the release of Wanda, the release of Gorr. That'll be a short one, and give my thoughts on that at Mandalorian as well. Got Doc Ock there. I gotta say, can you see Doc Ock? You can probably see him. Which way do I go? If I go this way, yeah, you can see him here. There. Gotta say, I'm very impressed. Very impressed by the figure as a whole. The tentacles, so much presence. They're solid as well, really, really good. Love the tailoring, the two coats and stuff like that. Yep, head sculpt is not the best. I'm not going to pretend like it is. But I gotta say, as much as I don't really subscribe to, oh, when you get it in hand, it'll be fine. It doesn't look as bad as some of the photos may have you believe. But it is not a good head sculpt. It's a 7 at best with the glasses on. But I gotta say, all together, yeah, just a great piece. But yeah, we'll return obviously so there'll be a review on that, the Doc Ock, and we will return on the Hope Show Monday night. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. So yeah, see you in the next one, folks. Good luck.